Hi everyone. I'm not sure if you can hear this because I'm better on stage than I am in front of a computer. We're having lots of technical difficulties even, but that's not my bag. Basically, the whole point of this is to do a book launch and let everyone know about my book, which is My Story. I was diagnosed with MS in 2007, so it was a long time ago. And MS itself is quite frightening because you're basically given a diagnosis and you're told that it's not always fatal, and that's how I found it. It's not always fatal, and it can't. Hi everyone, everyone's saying hello. Hello everyone, I've got you on my phone because I have laptops set up everywhere and I've got a big screen, and then it all just went pear-shaped. So I freaked out about the technology. It's better though because I was so scared about reading, and now I'm just like, the technology's gone wrong, so it's fine. It will all be fine. Basically, yeah, I was diagnosed in 2007 and it was a bank holiday, and all I was told was it's not always fatal. And that's not the best thing to tell someone when you're given a diagnosis like MS, because you automatically just think of really ill, disabled people. And MS, it's really scary, like any illness. It is a frightening diagnosis, but when you're told that the only thing is that you're going to get worse, that's not really great.
Right, okay, so we can hear.
So someone's just saying you can hear you. So yeah, I was absolutely petrified, and the way that I dealt with it is just to bury my head in the sand, and I hid it from everyone I could and myself for about 10 years. And then my MS just kept getting worse and worse, and I was on so many different drugs. I used to do my own injections, and then I did those every other day, and then I went to weekly injections, and then an infusion, and then basically I was told that there's nothing else left for me. I'm quite stubborn, so I found out about stem cell therapy through an amazing charity called AIMS, and so I started fundraising and went off to Moscow. I mean, the difficult thing with MS is it's so unpredictable, and that's why it's so scary. Everyone's MS journey is so different, and that's why you have to bear in mind that I've got no medical experience whatsoever. Everything is my opinions and my experiences. So when you read that one thing worked for me, it doesn't mean it will work for Joe, and one thing that works for Joe won't work for Sarah, etc., etc. So when you're reading my book, please bear in mind that it is just my opinions, my thoughts, my experiences. But the most important thing, I think, with anything is just to stay smiling. And my book does have, when I was writing, I had to stop writing because I was bawling with tears, and I had to stop writing so I could see and carry on typing. So a lot of it is really emotional, but an awful lot of the book is humorous, because that's how I think is the best way of dealing with anything, is with humour. And so lots of it is quite funny. So I'm hoping it's a good read. Fingers crossed. I mean, I've never done a launch before. I've never written a book before. So I am sort of blagging, and I've made my blaggies help me.
No.
There's a Kelly and Bri over there. So what I've done is I've picked a few sections from the book, and I thought I'd read them to you. But yeah, feel free to ask questions. I'm on my phone right now because all the millions of laptops that we've got don't seem to want to play, which is probably quite fitting because I'm a bit of a technophobe, so it's probably quite well suited. But the plan is that I'll read a section of the book, and then if you want to ask questions throughout, just keep asking. And I've persuaded Kelly to read some sections as well. Feel free to ask anything. And if we don't answer, then we'll probably come back when we worked out how to do what we're doing. Is that okay? Okay. Right, I'm going to read the first bit, and then I will waffle because that's how I work. I will waffle. Okay, so I've chosen these bits, and like I said, feel free to ask questions at any time. And then I'm hoping that my handy assistant is going to tell me what you're all saying, because I can see it whizzing up. So I'm glad there's people actually on here, so that's good. Okay, so just bear with me. And I'm so nervous, it's ridiculous, considering I spent years being on stage. Right. This is from chapter 1. So this bit is not focused on MS, because the story is my life story so far. Okay? I'm going to take these off because I don't want glasses. The signs. At school, I'd always been fairly active and had mixed groups of friends. The 3 popular girls and I got on really well, but I didn't want to be part of that clique. I had my geeky friends, my sporty best mate, and my, a long time ago in Cambridge, ethnic minority friends too. I was confident and well-liked, so I was a rare child that didn't get bullied. The odd comment about tree trunk legs was quickly crushed by any one of my friendship groups. Being half Turkish meant that my body hair was dark and much more noticeable, but it also meant that I had a dark curly mass on my head that looked fab with little to no effort. Back at home, I remember standing in my green and white crop top set on the black and white tiled vinyl bathroom floor facing the bath. The wall above was decorated by my own fair hands, using a felt tip blower and a multitude of sea stencils and colours. My favourite was the blue octopus, tentacles spread to meet teeny orange fish and yellow starfish. Mum came in smiling with some tubes of hair removal cream. I just stared at her. She had studied biology. She must surely know about Darwin. The hair was meant to be there for a reason. She smothered both of my legs in freezing cold cream, and it absolutely stank. Why would people do this to themselves? I stood there, cold and covered in stinky cream, in my new crop top set, for some reason to wear underneath my t-shirt. I was extremely uncomfortable, even if this was only for about 5 minutes. Well, if this is what would make her happy, who was I to argue? Mum then took a flannel and soaked it under the tap and wiped off the putrid-smelling cream along with my leg hair. At school the next day, my year group was stood standing, huddled on the sports field. I in my moss green netball skirt, matching knee-high socks, but minus my warming leg hair. Did no one know about Darwin? Hello. I never got anxious about being picked last. I'm almost positive that many of my peers would grow up to be adults with anxiety due to being the last ones to be picked at every single PE session. I was never chosen for the 100 metres though, although now I was a lot lighter and streamlined thanks to my mum's cream hair antics.
Right, we're all good, everyone can hear still on this one, so...
I'm having a technical update.
Technical
Excellent.
update.
Technical update, we can hear you. That's good. So that's just like a sample. It's not all MS, and there are bits that are quite, that are quite emotional. But hopefully the humour in between makes it more fun. I can see loads of things popping up, which is lovely. Oh, I see love hearts.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Lots of love hearts. Thank you all. I think Kelly should have a go reading and give me a little break. Okay. I'm going to swung. I was planning to do a cartwheel away, but I won't do that yet. Okay.
Hello everyone. So, on the next trip we was out on a glass-bottom catamaran with the opportunity to go snorkelling. We sat sunning ourselves in our short-sleeved tops, straw hats and sunglasses. It was a boiling hot day and the cool breeze was welcoming. The boat stopped. Snorkel time. I smiled at number 9. She looked unconvinced. The jump down into the sea wasn't a slight distance from the edge of the boat. I smiled. I'll go first for the 4! Leaping into the air from the safe confines of the boat and into the sea. When I bobbed back up, I wiped the stinging salty water from my eyes with the sun cream combo. Ucket bucket. Completing my sentence. Number 9 took a deep breath, then jumped in and joined me in the turquoise water. A small group of us snorkeled and we saw the most beautiful fish swimming close to us. Then it was time to get back onto the boat. The waves were crashing against the boat and people swam up to the ladders attached to the sides. I could easily get hold of one of the string ladders, but it took me many attempts to lift my leg. And number 9, despite the choppy waters, pushed me towards a ladder. My leg was really angry, but fuck it, we did it. There you go.
Fabulous. See, lots of it is just really silly stuff. There are quite a few emotional bits, but it's scattered around humour. Okay, are you ready? The bits that people really want to know, apart from me being daft, is all the medical side of it. So, I've picked a couple of bits. This one, not a samurai. The most unwelcome of days arrived. Self-injecting, 101. The nurse came to see me, complete with needles, medication, and a lovely little gift box for storage. She also brought along a foam sponge for me to practice my technique on before the real event, and she gifted me a demonstration DVD for my viewing pleasure. I could take my injections anywhere I wanted, and I had a choice of injection sites. Hooray! Thighs, arms, bring on my bingo wings, or stomach. Unfortunately, it did have to be my own body. The best and least painful place apparently was to inject in the stomach. The idea of this absolutely horrified me. All I could picture was myself on my knees, injection held tight in both hands, and Harry Curie was not something I'd ever been tempted by. The stomach, therefore, was immediately ruled out. I sat politely, taking deep breaths and admittedly sweating in fear, as the matter-of-fact nurse showed me how to mix and prepare my injections. This reminded me of being at science class at school. Following her lead, I inserted the syringe, drawing up the miraculous MS banishing clear fluid to blend with the equally boring clear fluid. I was hoping for glitter, or at least a change of colour, but nothing. The most exciting bit was a gentle flicking motion of the syringe to bring air bubbles to the top. After a quick practice stab of the foam with a faux injection, it was my time to shine. My palms got sweatier, my breathing got heavier, and I couldn't turn the page. Sorry. Where's the technical team when you need them to turn the pages? My breathing faster, and after several huge swallows, I plunged the needle into my left thigh. The positioning was much more thought out than it may come across. I was to do this procedure every other day. I imagined noughts and crosses on my legs, as it wasn't recommended to do the same spot twice in such a short period of time. I presume it's something to do with scar tissue or healing, but to be honest, I try not to think about it too much. I was suddenly grateful for my thunder thighs. More flesh, ample spaces to choose from, the joy. The unfazed lady left me with details of the company who would regularly deliver my goods. Then she proceeded to warn me about the common side effects. These included fever, chills, joint pain, feeling unwell, sweating, headaches, muscle pain, and reactions in the injection site. Really? This would be something I would be inflicted on my body every other day? When the morning of injection day came, I would pace around and keep myself really busy. I did have so much to do. I had to clear out the kitchen drawer, clean the toys in the toy box. I had so many towels that needed folding. I had to pair socks. At least I would find things to do. So there's my injecting. I'm trying to see if there's any questions, but I've got the wrong glasses.
Yeah, you're all good.
All good. I was going to say, feel free to ask any questions.
We've got one come through from Miss Houghton. Have you
Miss
found
Houghton.
writing your book cathartic?
Yes, I love that word as well. That's a new word that I've learned as well. Yeah, I have to say that they offered me counselling when I got diagnosed with MS, and I was like, no, I'm fine. I don't need anything, because I was like, everything will be fine as long as I just ignore it. It'll all be fine. But you know, writing the book was a huge release for me, and I think it's probably made me deal with it a lot better, because I was very much like, put your fingers in your ears, don't speak about it, don't think about it, it's fine, it's not me, it's not me. So yeah, I have to say that it has helped me deal with it. Definitely. So yeah, that's a great question. Definitely cathartic. But exhausting. I thought you'd literally write on a scrap of paper, send it off, get it printed, but it's a lot harder than it comes across. It was a year to write it, and I did it in the first lockdown, and then a year to edit, because you write a lot of rubbish, and I can waffle for England, as you all know. So yeah, a year to write, a year to edit. So it's really hard work, and there's so much involved.
Okay, we got a Miss Needham.
Go,
Whoever
Miss
that may
Needham.
be. Go, Miss Needham.
Go, Miss Needham.
Okay, well, she would like to know what's been your biggest challenge when writing the book.
I think that's a really good question. I think because I hid MS for literally years, I hid it from everyone and probably mainly from myself. I mean, I used to, when I was in town, I used to have a stick that folded up, and lots of times I'd go into town with Kelly and I'd hold her arm and try and hide the stick. And then if I was bad that day, I would use the stick as well. And if anyone came, I'd quickly hide it behind me or her. So yeah, I hid MS from me for a long time. And then I had to come into terms with it when I was told, you're going to be in a wheelchair by Christmas. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'll try something else. And then obviously ended up going to Russia because I was like, yes, I will go and have this incredible treatment in this really scary sounding place and it will all be fine. And throughout Russia, I would just put my hands in my ears and I was like, it'll be fine. And lots of people were like, I fibbed a bit, I'm sorry everyone. And I was like, yeah, I've done loads of research. But I was like, I only need to know what's happening tomorrow, really. So just tell me what's happening tomorrow. But one of my friends said to me, you need to do videos so people can see what it's like. And so doing the videos was quite scary because I had to show, you know, different things that I'd hidden for so long, and I had to allow people into my world. And so that meant that I came out.
Scary sounding place,
as it were. Oh, I can hear myself twice. That's all it. Am I going that way?
You know,
I've got loads of cameras. I'm like, I don't know where to look.
and I had to
Keep your thought for now.
Yeah.
into my world.
So I had to come out
So that meant
to
I
do
came
all
out
of these
scary
videos to
sounding
try and
place,
fundraise. So because I'd done that,
I had to show.
yeah, it sort of.
I've got loads of cameras. I'm like, I don't know
Right,
where to
here's a
look.
second too.
I've got so many. I can hear myself. Echo.
Into my world. So I had
I'm
to
going to get
come
rid of
out. So
that
that
one,
meant
and
I
then I
came out
won't hear
scary sounding
myself.
place, and it will be fine.
Can you get rid of that?
Because I'd done that.
There's like 5 me's. It's a bit freaky.
Perfect.
You okay with that?
I'm good. Yes, sorry. So basically, to fundraise, I made videos, which now is quite useful because I've been doing them leading up to this launch. Writing the book was less frightening, I think, because I'd already told the world all of my deep secrets, and I feel like I've slightly sold my soul to the devil. So for $11.99, you can have all of my secrets. Yeah, so it has been really good for me. I have to say, apart from doing this weird live with 18 me's in different screens, actually the thought of people reading all my deep, dark secrets is absolutely petrifying. But I'm hoping that it does help people. I mean, MS itself is so scary because you have no idea what's going to happen. And also, I think a diagnosis, it doesn't mean it's the end at all. And it is so scary. And I think it's someone private messaged me. It was a parent of someone that had been diagnosed and just said that they were petrified. And I said, I think it's actually harder for the people looking in because you just have to get on with it if it's you doing it. Whereas the people around you can see when you're poorly and can see, you know, what treatments you're having to have and things like that. But the biggest thing for anyone with any illness at all is to keep smiling. I know that's really cliche, but that makes a massive difference. I mean, Kelly actually said to me, it sounds awful, she's not a nice person. She said to me, I'm glad you've got MS because we wouldn't have done half the stuff we've done if you hadn't, because it was a bit like, I'm not going to be beaten by this. You know, we went parasailing, that's what it's called, isn't it? Yeah, loads of just stupid stuff that normally it would have been like, oh no, we're not going to do that. But because of the MS, it had to be I can still carry on doing this. And I think just putting the book out there, it means that some people can see inside someone's world. Because it is so frightening. I had a chap from California message me and just say, I'm petrified. I don't know what's going to happen. And I said, I think we all feel that way. You know, because you are told you've got this horrible disease and, you know, deal with it. And it is, a lot of times, it is finding what works for you and finding what treatment works for you and not giving up. So that sounds a bit cheesy, doesn't it? But I do think that's the big thing. And to keep smiling, keep laughing. And yeah, a lot of it is what's in your mind can make a difference.
Getting a lot of congratulations
Yeah,
on the
go
book as
me,
well.
go me. I know,
Okay,
it's so scary.
some from Miss M.y S.tory, okay, and a Robert Gillett.
Go, Robert.
Absolutely,
And Aaliyah.
absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you all. It is so scary. And people saying, well done, you've done it. And I'm like, wait till you read it. But no, it's brilliant. Brilliant read. You should probably buy 2, in fact. Buy one for you. 5, at least.
Buy
5. How many
5
people have you got in your
each.
family? Your hairdresser probably would like a copy for Christmas. You know, the people that work for you.
Your
Get them a Christmas
mum,
bonus.
your dad.
Yeah, everyone. Everyone should have a copy. Right, have I read this or not? I don't think I have.
Which one have you gone to?
A Russian Love.
I shall read.
Oh yeah, let Kelly read because I waffle. Okay, I'm going to hold my phone now. This is all going to work beautifully.
Hello again. Okay, so I drive and collect number 9 to go shopping. I clung to the trolley as if it were a pushchair. We went round the aisles picking up my groceries and occasionally stopping. If my legs refused to move, we'd pretend to be in deep conversation or would be admiring the products on the shelves. If I were feeling really adventurous, we'd venture into town. I would hold number 9's arm and occasionally had a stick, as well as the other hand. We frequented many a cafe, sometimes for breakfast, sometimes lunch, or sometimes just tea and coffee. Sometimes alcohol too. These outings kept me feeling normal. As the weeks, months and years passed, the outings became less, as I would trip over my own feet. The stick was now fully on show, and its use could no longer be disguised. Number 9 always made me smile. When I stumbled, she would catch me before I hit the ground, but offered to throw herself down to distract attention if she didn't catch me. But she always caught me. Let me start that sentence again. We met up once, and she had handmade the most fanciful plasters, so we can celebrate the falls, she said. There you go.
Beautiful. Kelly's smiling away. I don't know if she's read some of this. I was like, read that for me. Has anyone got any questions?
We've got a request for just loads to be posted to Scotland.
Yeah.
That's it, just loads to be posted
Millions,
to
just
Scotland.
million. What, about 100?
1,000.
1,000, 100,
We'll get a
millions.
van load out. We'll get a van
We'll
load
get a
out.
van, yeah, we'll hire a van.
Right, question for you, Kev.
Go on.
Right, were you nervous about releasing it?
I'm petrified. I'm absolutely petrified. I'm still scared now because there's lots of things that I'm a bit like, oh, but people don't know that. Because it's my life so far. So some of the things, people don't know because I am generally quite a private person and I've literally put my life down in black and white and I'm selling it. So I am still scared.
We'll get a van, yeah, we'll hire a van.
I've got 18 me's again.
Right, kill that one.
Do. Shall I go for it?
Go for it.
Okay, so this is from chapter 14. You'll know this when you've all bought a book. You can read all of them to your viewing pleasure. Okay. I was only sleeping about 5 hours a day, so I managed to catch up with the kids, friends and family. Luckily, the people were in different time zones, so my 3 a.m. natter would be a decent time for one or the other. I did a lot of focused breathing and relaxation techniques, things I'd been teaching for years, so it was second nature. I recapped on a lot of my studies, things like massage, anatomy, essential oils and manifestation, which is visualising and focusing on something until it appears in your realm. There were, however, dark times when my rose-tinted glasses slipped. A family member with good intentions had sent me a link to a song that reminded me of my little lady, and the tears came flooding out. I had to remind myself I was doing this for them, and I think the release probably did me good. The next time was waking up with one night, with pain so severe I actually asked for painkillers. After a day of being violently sick, it became apparent that I have an intolerance for opioids. No tramadol, no codeine for me then. To be fair, it was probably my holistic inner self teaching me to deal with the pain, breathe through the pain, but instead I had something injected into my neck. Possibly the worst of all happened shortly after chemo. I'd woken up in the night and looked at my hands. They were covered in hair, as was my pillow, my face, my arms and my sheets. I knew this was going to happen, but the knowing hadn't made it any easier. The silent tears came flowing, but my fluffy cat was in England. I pressed the buzzer on the wall. I'd been told off for not asking for help enough, and so now seemed an appropriate time. There was no cat there to comfort me. My heart throbbed, my bottom lip shook, my breath was shallow, and the lump in my throat grew. Now was the time to buzz. A nurse arrived in seconds, took one look at me, and instinctively went to the bathroom and returned with damp cloths. She wiped my face, my arms, and helped me out of bed, and then she changed my sheets. She gently wiped over my head and popped on a hairnet before helping me into bed, nodding knowingly before leaving. Something so simple, but at that moment I felt like such a small, vulnerable child, and her caring presence was what was needed to fix what I couldn't fix myself. The next day, I found my rose-tinted glasses. Sporting my blue hairnet, I went into the bathroom and rubbed at my top lip. Chemo would now have to replace my regular waxing sessions. The hair on my top lip was minimal, as I had been waxed before leaving for Russia. I wanted to look good for seeing clients, friends and family at the millions of fundraisers that we were doing. Nonetheless, I rubbed at my top lip, and then my chin, and then my armpits, and then my legs. I was going to make the most of this unusual phenomena, and between you and me, my bikini line has never looked so fabulous. That's me all readied out.
You read it out. Okay.
I'm all readied out.
Here's another quick one for you then, Kez.
Go on.
Alright. So what would you say is the main message of your book, and how would one benefit from reading it?
I think the main message is, it's so cliche, but it's just to say stay positive, and that's not just for MS, that's for any illness, because humour can go a really long way, and if you're smiling, everything is so much better when you smile. And even if if you fake laugh, it releases a hormone, so your brain actually thinks that you're laughing. So literally, they do laughing yoga. It's really good for you, because if you laugh, your brain doesn't know the difference between real laughter and fake laughter. So yeah, just stay positive. And the book throughout it just talks about some silly things and some really dark things, but I've tried to put a slant on all the misery as well. So I think the main thing is just to stay positive. Whatever diagnosis you get, if you don't have a diagnosis, everything's always better if you're smiling, and you can always find some positivity in everything. I'm such a hippie, aren't I? I'm such a hippie.
Right, here's a go for you.
Go on.
Okay, did you know you were going to write your book during your treatment?
I'm not sure. I always said, because when I was little, I used to be scribbling away, and I used to be writing this. And in the attic, I've got mountains and mountains of. We had a typewriter, and I used to sit and type mainly about animals, and then families and children going on adventures. I was always writing stuff. And actually, one of the children in the book, it's just my scribbles upstairs in the attic, has got the same name as my daughter. And I was a bit like, that's a bit weird. But did I know I was going to write it? I'm not sure, because I've always been quite secretive, and I hid it for so long. And I think to actually put it out there and say to people, this is all the embarrassing stuff about MS, because there can be some really hideous things, which are all in the book, $11.99. There's some awful things. But I think it's just being a human. Horrible things happen to everyone, and, I think for people with a new diagnosis or anything like that, it's so scary. And hopefully the book will help a lot of people. So to come to terms with it, or just to be able to see it from a different perspective.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Perfect. Okay, we've got Matt Casey. What have your experiences taught you about yourself that surprised you most, stroke were hardest to accept?
I'm a massive hippie. No, I knew that anyway. I think, that's a good one. That's a hard one. I think just to be true to yourself. I mean, I was so scared to tell people that I had MS. I was so scared because I thought it made me less of a person. And for my work, I'm a therapist, and people come and moan about their boss and about their stubbed toe. And I always thought, if people know that I've got MS, it's sort of like a one-upmanship, isn't it? So I wanted people to carry on coming to me and moaning and not feel like I had a better disease than them, because that ruins the whole point of me being a therapist. So I was scared about that. I know someone thought they were going to catch it from me once, so that was quite frightening. So it is coming out. It is coming out with MS, coming out to say, and that's so frightening that it's in black and white and I can't take it back. Unless I go around just taking all the books off everyone.
So we have a Tracy Wakelin.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy. Will you be doing a second book? And you are such an inspirational lady.
Bless you. Thank you very much. It's really kind. People have been really, really sweet, I have to say. Yes, it's my plan. My plan. Mind you, it's such hard work. I never had any idea how hard it was, but definitely I've got a few ideas. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be about my life, but a lot of it will be, I suppose, things I've experienced, because I can't help it, because that's the experiences I have. So yeah, I hope so. I plan to, but I don't know what it'll be about exactly yet.
Here's a question. Should you be writing the second book, what would be the working title for said book?
I don't know whether to say already.
Boom.
I'm not sure whether to say. I think it's a bit scary. It feels like I think it would be The Biggest Blag. Would be the second book. Is my plan, because a lot of it is, I think, making things happen. I'm a massive believer in manifestation, so making things happen. Yeah, and there's The Biggest Blag, I think, definitely, because so many things, I mean, in the book it talks about I had a cyst when I was pregnant with my daughter, and the cyst was 8 centimetres, and I was pregnant, so she was teeny. And they said that they had to cut it out, and I said, no, I'm going to get rid of it myself. And they said, it's impossible, it's dangerous, but I would have lost her, so I said, no. And I used to sit at night time and imagine jellyfish. It's in the book, you'll love that chapter. And imagine these jellyfish eating away. And amazingly, this impossible to shift cyst, I think I've actually just thrown a quote out of my book.
Yeah.
The impossible to shift cyst, that's quite impressive. It went from 8 centimetres, and the next scan it was 6 centimetres, and then 4, and then she arrived and there was no cyst. So yeah, definitely The Biggest Blag, about creating things from not nothing, but you know, when you put your mind to something. So I think that's my plan.
Got a post from a Robert Gillett, just basically sharing his children, asked them if they could catch it from him.
Yeah, yeah. I had someone ask if they could catch it from me, and I think it's like anything. MS is so scary because people don't know about it, and I think the more, and this is part of the reason why I've written the book, the more people are aware of something, the less frightening it is. Yeah, because your brain is so clever, and you can come up with so many hideous scenarios. If you get, like for example, you go for a job interview, you're imagining all these horrible, grouchy people just staring at you and asking you questions, and that's really frightening. And actually, well, unless you go somewhere really hideous, a job interview is not as scary as it is in your head. I've no idea what I'm talking about, I'm sorry.
We've got another question from Tracy Wakelin.
Go Tracy.
Would you recommend other people who are diagnosed to accept it straight away?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I think you have to do something about it. Whichever way you choose is fine. It is hard to accept because it's very much, it's not happening to me, is how I dealt with it. I mean, I did that for a long time. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. It's not happening to me. It's everyone else. You know, everyone else has got, you know, and I really struggled to come to terms with it. But I think hopefully, I mean, this book, obviously, I'm pushing the book, but hopefully this will make it a bit less frightening for people that have got the diagnosis, because it doesn't mean that's the end. That doesn't mean it's the end. So coming to terms with it, you'd have to do in your own time. However you dealt with that, whether it is, you know, reading stuff about it. Don't Google it. No Googling, because Googling's awful. Or unless you work for Google, then we love Google. Yeah, I just thought, I shouldn't say things like that. Yeah, I think you have to do it in your own terms, in whichever way is best for you. But eventually, whether you like it or not, you're going to have to deal with it.
Got Mr. Needham piping again.
Good old Needham.
Good old Needham. Right. Do you think that your holistic background has helped you look at alternative ways to manage your MS?
Oh yeah, 100%, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I did go along, although I'm ashamed to admit, I did go along this line of pharmaceuticals and did what my doctor said and did everything like that. But what I discovered, probably too late on, is stress is, for me, stress is a huge effect on my MS. If I'm really stressed, if I'm really tired, that makes such a difference to me. So I've had to teach myself to, to meditate. I don't do it enough, admittedly. Teach myself to be able to stay calm. And I mean, I'm really lucky because in my line of work it is all candlelit and it's all calm, and it's good for me because I can go to work and it's time out for me. But if you don't have that luxury of doing that sort of job, then you need to be looking after you and finding whichever treatments work for you, if that helps.
Yeah. We've got one here. Have you ever looked at a specific diet to help out?
I have. I cut out loads of stuff. I cut out gluten for a long time because that's a biggie. Gluten and dairy as well. So I cut them out probably for a couple of years. Probably more than that. Maybe 3-4 years. A long time. And I do think that helped. And then when I went to Russia, I was given food and I didn't know what it was. And I was like, just bring it on. Because these people are so well trained in, they were the all-knowing beings as far as I was concerned. So when I was given the pot of orange gloop alongside something that I think might have been bread and something that was possibly meat, I just ate it because I was like, they know what they're doing, so I will eat all of this. And my stomach hurt for quite a few days, but I thought they know what they're doing, and so the dairy and the gluten and everything all came back in again, and so I'm having most of it now. I'm now having less dairy than I was. My plan is to go back to gluten and dairy free, and I've no idea if that helps, but I think it probably does.
Okay, you're good for another question?
Yeah.
Okay. Does your book cover holistic methods, or is it more bio-based?
It's definitely bio-based. I think I probably accidentally slip into the holistic therapist mode, but it is basically, it's my story. It literally is my story. So if something came up with, for example, when I was pregnant and I had the abscess, that talks about, imagination, the jellyfish, and controlling your body with your mind. So I think without even realising it, it probably does slide into slide into sections without me even realising that I've done that.
Okay, I've got a message come through. How did you find the whole experience of the hospital care in Russia?
In Russia, oh, amazing. Amazing, I have to say. Yeah, Russia was fantastic. They are just so lovely. They were so good. Like the language barrier, most of them spoke enough English, and if they didn't, we had a piece of paper that said pain, and then we just literally pointed, or I'm just thinking the other one, like I said, pain. I wasn't in that much pain, it was quite nice. But the nurses were so lovely. They weren't just nurses, they were carers, they were, do you know what I mean, they were friends, they helped me sort out Wi-Fi, which is always my issue. They did everything, so they were nurses, yes, but also carers, and taught me how to use the vodka body wash. That's correct, I used vodka to wash my whole body. My mouthwash was vodka. So yeah, all vodka based in Russia, and that's not even a lie, that's a true fact. In that hospital that I was in anyway.
Okay.
Maybe we've run out.
Maybe run out. A question about your fellow inmates in the hospital.
They were amazing. I think we might be off. It says we're live. I think Kelly might have just turned the camera on.
Right, okay, just move your phone a second then, see how it goes.
Get rid of the phone. I think move that one. Ooh.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, so have we got any music? No, any noise?
Oh, yeah.
Or are you still on the phone?
No idea.
Loving this technology, but
I know, I'm
loving
so
it.
sorry, everyone. I did warn people that I was awful at technology.
Yeah, I can still hear you both.
Okay.
Go for it.
I don't know what I'm answering now.
Right, so where are we at?
Oh, my Russians!
Yeah, Russian.
My
Fellow patients
vodka.
in there.
They were all
Gosh.
amazing. They were all amazing. They were all lovely. And if they're on here, we love you. Yeah, they are all fabulous. I was really lucky because there was some other people from Britain, different parts of Britain, and there was people from New Zealand, Australia, just everywhere, Norway, and it's so strange because I will have a bond with those people that I can't have with anyone else because they all went through the same treatment as me, and they know like the highs and the lows, and when you have your stem cell transplant, you have a birthday. So I have 2 birthdays, and all of these beautiful people that have had the same treatment also have 2 birthdays, which makes us more fabulous than everyone else. No. But no, they were all. I was so lucky because it was just a trusting bond that we've got. Does that make sense? So yeah, they were all. I was so lovely. They were all fabulous, and I love them dearly. Does that answer that?
Looking through it, I think that pretty much covers that one. Okay, let's go on. Did you ever get bored while you were in the hospital?
You know, I don't think I did. That's that crazy. I don't think... If I did, I blocked it out. You read. You read. No, I don't think I did. I had so many different things to do. Right. Does this work? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I have no idea. I can see you
I'm
on
just
here.
going to start reading it from there.
Yeah,
I
that's
am.
fine. You're all good. You're
Yeah.
good.
So, the next sunny morning, we took another snail's pace stroll to the beach. We saw a board advertising parasailing. Do you fancy it? Number 9 asked with a grin. Hell yeah, I said, at which point number 9 swiftly paid. I found out what parasailing was over lunch. We rocked up to the beach the next day. We rocked is possibly the wrong adjective, more like ambled. We then saw exactly what we had signed up for, and oh my. They did a test to check our balance. I can't even remember how I fared, but I obviously had been appalling, so I was placed in the centre of the boat with the other, equally less gifted on the balance front, soon to be parasailers. We were given huge life jackets to put on, and once we were checked, the speedboat in front of us raced ahead. What's going on, I wondered, before suddenly whooshed into the air like a rocket. It was the most exhilarating rush. As we floated in the bright blue sky, the ocean beneath us, I shouted over to number 9, "This is perfect for the bucket." I smiled to number 9 and thought to myself, "Fuck you, MS."
Beautiful. Beautiful. Mine back on again.
You're back on again. It's over to you, I believe.
Yeah, so, yeah.
You've just got a bit of a lag
Hopefully.
there, Kez. That's why you're coming on the actual
Okay.
screen a little bit later on.
Yeah, hopefully this gives everyone a bit of an insight into the book. It isn't all doom and gloom. A lot of it is just me being an idiot. It's just hopefully more fun to read than all the doom and gloom. There is a bit of doom and gloom. And there's a lot of talk about the different medicines and things that I was on. Yeah, so hopefully it'll be a good read. I'm hoping so. But yeah, I've put it all out there, and I thought I was going to hide certain bits that I am still quite ashamed about, but I thought if I'm going to do it, I need to do it properly. So I've put all of my shames down in black and white. But hopefully if that helps some people, then that's a good thing. So yeah, but hopefully it will make you giggle as well.
We've got a message gone there from Mr. Thomas Martin. Basically, it's good for you. You smiled when most were not well done, not done as well.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. Yeah, I think smiling gets you through a lot of crap. It really does. And laughter and silliness makes things much more fun.
Okay, again, what's your advice on staying positive? Just move them wine glasses up.
Yeah, pass me my wine.
Prosecco.
Staying positive. I think a big thing that I'm into is, I'm such a hippie, is gratitudes. And I do it to my kids and to anyone that comes near me. I'm like, what are your gratitudes for today? What are your gratitudes for today? And pump it into people. Because if you can find a gratitude every single day, it starts making you focus on looking for good things, not negative things. And just go out, have fun, be silly, and care a little bit less about being silly. I think as you get older, that's easier to be a little bit less bothered. So just enjoy. Life's fun. Don't waste it.
Okay, quick comment from one of your fellow inmates at the time.
Yay, go in, mate.
Mr. Alex Barton.
Yay.
He certainly made us laugh, Semi-Sis.
Ah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. That's my STEMmy brother. We were there together, so we love him dearly. And his wife, because she's beautiful too. We love our little Rose.
Okay, so your humour is obviously a strength that you've used all the way through this journey.
I think if you don't laugh at yourself, then, you know what's really, someone's going to laugh at you, so it may as well be yourself that you're laughing at. I think that is probably the best way to get through things. So if you look like an idiot, at least it's you that's pointing it out first.
Indeed. Let's keep an eye out what we've got. Right, we have a note on here that there would, well, you carried on, you're doing a great job. So
Thanks.
despite little technical issues.
That's the technical man's fault.
Yeah, I'll take that one. Well, I've got reason with it, but
Someone else's.
got a comment liking the catamaran.
I love the catamaran. Yay! Oh no, we've had a lot of laughs. It's been quite good. And that's probably because I've got MS, so we go out of our way to make things even more fun, because we would have just been sat in the pub drinking, but instead we're in the air flying in a hot air balloon.
On a boat.
On a boat.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Dressed up, anything.
Got a private message come through.
Oh dear, maybe read that one.
But, however, yeah, Rebecca, great news. I need some of that vodka body wash. Yeah, still got some of it.
It's true. It's not even a lie. Because I said they took away my toothbrush, because if you cut yourself when you've had, because the chemo that we had was, again, I'm not a doctor, so all of my medical information is probably completely wrong. But the chemo that we had is stronger than they have for chemo, because it was so intense. And basically, you have to banish your immune system, because that's what's attacking you. So my toothbrush was taken away, which to me is devastating, because I'm obsessed with brushing my teeth. In case we got a cut, that got infected or whatever reason. So the mouthwash was vodka, and my hair wash was vodka. And I did lose all my hair, but it was all vodka. My body wash was vodka, and it's not even a lie. Vodka, vodka, vodka. And luckily at the time I didn't drink vodka, otherwise I would have just been in the loo drinking it. But chemo changed my taste, so now I'm alright with vodka. It might have been what they were injecting to me. Injecting vodka in, so now I've got a taste for it, maybe. Again, that's not true.
Coming across as a lush, so much.
Yeah. A what?
A lush, a drunkard.
Oh, no, I'm not a
Oh, you
drunkard.
should tell them about all your different things that you did like and you didn't like now, like your tea and your
Oh,
coffee.
yeah.
And
Yeah, chemo, I think it does it for a lot of people, but like I was an avid tea drinker, if you can be an avid tea drinker, and now I don't do tea, I do coffee. So I love coffee now. Yay! Welcome to the coffee side. And apparently my kids say my cooking is a lot better, because I used to like mushy pea curry, which is great for Swimming World, but now I tried it and I was like, really? I used to eat that, and it's disgusting. So I think my taste buds have got a lot better. My cooking definitely has.
Okay, I got a private one then. How much has the treatment benefited you?
Loads of different ways. I couldn't bend my left leg before, so I did a weird, swingy leg thing before, but I can bend my leg now, so I can walk properly. I'm still walking with a stick, but I can walk properly, but with a stick. That makes sense. It's benefited my kids because they're not eating my rubbish cooking. And also, yeah, that's a good point. I was on Thai Sabri before, which there's a possibility of getting a disease, like a brain disease, PML, which basically I signed a disclaimer when I first went on Tysabri to say, yes, I take my life into my own hands. And so I was on Tysabri for, I think it was about 6 years. So and it was every 28 days for 6 years, which is a long time. And I was fortunate I still tested negative. But when you test positive, there's a scale, which I didn't realise. And it can be quite dangerous being on that drug. So I was on that drug for, I think it's 6 years, which is quite dangerous. So I'm not on that drug anymore. The only thing I have now that I take is I'm taking naproxen, which is like a painkiller, but that's basically because I'm trying to relearn to walk properly. And because I was swinging my leg out, my right hip, the muscle on my right hip is like so strong and the left isn't as strong. So I'm trying to rebalance all of that, and it's quite painful to readjust your walking. Not agonising pain, but I have that. I take naproxen for that. And I think that's about all I'm on now, which is quite nice. And coffee.
Coffee, lots of stimulants.
Loads of coffee. Too much coffee. Is there anything else?
Okay. What would you like to see in the future for MS resources and support?
Everyone should buy my book. Yeah, everyone should be given a copy of my book. I think there's so much. I mean, I'm a huge pusher of the HSCT, but I'm a massive believer that sort of halted my MS, if not. I know it has helped me a lot. So I'm a huge believer in that treatment, but it's very, very expensive. The NHS, I know, struggle anyway, so it is an expensive treatment. I'm a massive believer in that one, but again, that's my opinion and my experience, so that's a bit of a hard one, really. I think for awareness, like with anything, awareness of MS, and and it's not as scary as it sounds. It can be. I mean, I worked at the MS Centre for quite a while. Well, not quite a while. I was covering maternity leave for someone, and I could tell within a few minutes of meeting someone how they were going to fare. If that sounds like something I can say. I mean, there was one lady who is fabulous, and she's still rocking now. She's wonderful. And when I met her, I said, "Oh, what medication are you on?" And she said, "I have vitamin C every single day." And I was like, "Wonderful." And she's still doing great. Whereas it's how you're looking at things again. And there was someone else that was like, "Oh, I've got MS. I've got MS." You know, and it's that sort of sad pity, you know, because how can you look at anything well if you're grouchy or sad? So, yeah. I think I'm just going off on a tangent a bit.
Going on as many tangents as you want. This is you. This is about you. Right. How do we buy it? Thomas Martin.